Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, get in there. It is your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the yard of streams. We're not breaking down the Smack It Down. We are rewinding Raw as part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. Great. And we can't be rewinding that Raw here in the art streams without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey yo.
Hello.
What's going on?
Hi.
We're a week away. We're like a week away from
8 days for me. I leave on Wednesday.
I'll be at the Phillies game on Tuesday night in Philly, getting there a little temprano, a little early, because when my peeps need me, Sara. Okay. And I actually, as we all know right now, it's a little hour later.
Yeah.
It's an hour later because you had something going on, and it actually worked out because I had a problem that I had to solve, and I wanted to take this. I was thinking about this in the car ride there, and I just wanted to start the show off with this because you're gonna get some great wrestling insight, some entertainment from us, but take away something and learn something about yourself by watching us. And here's an example of that where I was told to do something at work. I got sidetracked, didn't do it. Well, then I'm at home. I had to go back to work and go solve the problem. So what is that? Why are you talking about this? The lesson here is just double check yourself. And if someone asks you to do something, just do it. Or just do it in the moment. All right. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Just do it there because then you're going to be paying for it later.
This is that insert Shia LaBeouf meme. Just do it.
Just do it.
That
was me. That just as I was driving to just deliver these people these friggin' salmon. It was tough. But just do it. All right. That was my lesson for all the peeps here. And Rainy Days, get some comments here. Was dozing in and out due to a long day. Dude, feel you so hard. All right. I with you. That's why we are here to catch you up. We got you. Dickie's, yes, I think very good is an understatement, which we'll get to. David, what's poppin'? Yeah, David, not the Expo logo. The Rock low-key did commit a felony potentially last night. Yo, was poppin', Vinny. And then we have people greeting. What's up? So yeah, Sara, I was watching this and I don't like to be hyperbolic when watching something and saying that it was the best thing ever. Cause the next week, there's a next week. And this should have been the go home Raw for Mania. I am at my peak after last night. And especially with us going, this is the feeling that I think every WWE fan should have going into WrestleMania. And I don't know how you top last night.
Yeah, I think that it almost feels like it might have been a mistake for them to do all of that they did, unless they're planning on doing something bigger on the go home show, because now it feels like they have unrealistic expectations to live up to for the go home Raw, because people are so happy about how Raw went this week. It's like, okay, well, how do they top it? How do they even pull off the same thing next week? So it's almost like it's good that it was as good as it was, but then it's like, okay, maybe the go home is not going to be as good because how do you top that? Or how do you make it more exciting only a week later, But I think that in general, what they did needed to be done, especially for the certain matches, because people were feeling a little bit underwhelmed about we're going to talk about everything specifically, but they were feeling a little bit underwhelmed about Becky and Rhea, and I felt like this week they kicked it into high gear And I like that they did it this week and there's still something they can do next week, because last year they were trying to rush that kind of stuff with
It was
Charlotte
kinda
and Rhea.
rushing. Yeah.
I feel like the whole everything to do with The Rock and Cody and the bloodline, all of that needed to happen because people were also disappointed with how SmackDown was, which I think, it depends on how you viewed it, but people were feeling a little bit underwhelmed with that as well. And this just again, was it, I mean, insane. So,
It was absolutely insane. Like,
yeah.
you saw my reaction here watching it. Like, I waited. Little peek behind the curtain. I did take a little snooze during
Mm.
this. I passed out right before the Sami Zayn Bronson read. So then we had to go back, rewatch it today. Wow. All I'm gonna say is wow, because I really want to hold in my thoughts here. But like, holy shit. It was like it was I felt like I was legitimately watching not only a movie, but a cinematic, like a trilogy of some sorts. Like I really felt like I was watching that because of how well they're portraying this.
And I was bummed because I don't have a way to watch Raw live right now. And
Yep.
so
Peeps.
because I just can't stay away, I was spoiling the show for myself anyway. So like
See,
part of me was bummed because I was ruining it for myself because that's just what I do. Like I just can't stay offline. So I'm like,
you
no,
you are mad. You like pain. You like
I
pain.
guess it's because
I
I'm like, I
it's
want to know what's happening, like I want to know what's happening. So I already saw like, oh, something happened with The Rock and Cody, but I didn't know exactly what it was other than the images and stuff. And what was
that's
kind of
true.
nice though is even though I knew a bunch of the segments were really good and people were like, oh my God, this Raw was really, really good. I actually sat there and watched every second of those segments, with Rhea and Becky and The Rock at the end, the Punk, Seth, Drew stuff. Like I didn't just sit there and be like, "Oh, I already know what happens," because I do that with SmackDown. But I
Sometimes
feel
you
like
have
this
to.
show was good enough that you didn't need to feel like, "Oh gosh, okay, I can fast forward through this." Like there really wasn't any
No, you
moment
couldn't.
like that. Yeah.
You really couldn't, because even as I'm trying to watch the second time and familiarize myself so that I can, talk about it here,
Mhm.
um, even that little 3 minutes right after the commercial, like, you don't even wanna miss that, because
Yeah.
I skipped a little bit of R-Truth and Miz's commentary, which
Mhm.
that was hilarious and like, "Oh, I wanna hear what he said again."
Mhm.
Like, it was that type of Raw where you legitimately could not fast forward through anything except the commercials.
Yeah, for sure.
Even the Candice LeRae, yeah,
Yeah.
it was short and, like, it could have been, like, a bathroom break, but, like, still, it did a job, and it wasn't just on the show to be on the show.
Yeah, well, it was continuing a story that they've been setting up for the past
Exactly.
few weeks. So, yeah, so I guess we can just jump right
Let's
into
just talk
it.
about it. Yeah.
So
Lot
Cody
to say.
Rhodes opens the show, which was nice because he doesn't do that as often anymore. And he did his normal spiel, comes out, waits so everyone can they were very loud singing his song too, which I was
They
like,
were loud.
I don't know if it was a setup. I don't know. There's 15,000 people there. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but they were very loud. And I'm like, y'all better be like that in Philly or I'm going to be disappointed. Okay.
It's gonna be
Because
louder.
I want to be a
It's
part of
gonna be
that.
louder.
Well, yeah, there's going to be like
It's
10 times the people. But
that
anyway,
my
so
stance
after
it stands.
after he goes on his spiel, about what do you want to talk about, blah, blah, blah. He talks about how Roman is making promises that he can't keep, and that has been getting under his skin. But when he makes a promise, he keeps it. Okay. He mentions a few things that he promises to do, like being the best man in some random fan's wedding,
Awesome.
attending a little boy's birthday. I want to know if he's really going to do these things. That's what I want to know because it's like, yeah, it might be kind of like cute and like, ah ha ha, of course. But I'm like, will he really do it? Like, I'm kind of interested to see
If he shows up for 5 minutes, it's adorable,
if he
okay?
shows up to be a dude's best man, even if he just is there for like the reception, bro,
Oh,
goat,
that's
goat.
coach status. No, that
Like
it oh, reception, no, not the reception, you mean the ceremony.
ceremony. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Even if he's
Yeah.
there ceremony and like, yeah, I gotta bounce because I'm Cody Rhodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, you were just my best. Yeah, like that's some yes.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Because then he mentions also the wrestling club wanting tickets to Mania, which we already know that he did. He's
He
sending
did
them
buy
all of
that.
them.
He
So
did buy
that's why I was
that.
saying the other two. I'm like, I wonder if he'll really do that. Um, he says that he does it all and doesn't ask for anything in return, but Roman doesn't know what that's like anymore because everything that he does, basically, it's, because he's wanting something or he wants something from you. And so he says, so he keeps going on. I'm just pulling out some of the one-liners and stuff that he said. Like, it's his fault that Roman and Rock can't have their wank fest at WrestleMania because
That
he
was
won the Royal
awesome.
Rumble twice. And I was like,
That was a
Cody,
hell of a line. That was a hell of
Cody.
a line.
And he says that he learned from last year, obviously going against Roman at WrestleMania, that he cannot do it alone. So he says he will have people in his corner, and then that is when he was trying to get like the audience to participate, to be like, you guys will be there for me, right? Like on Saturday, and then when I have to go against him on Sunday, like you'll be there with me. So let's all point at the sign together. And I was like, Cody, stop.
Did you point?
No. Where
Oh,
could I
asshole.
point? I can't point. There's
Asshole.
no WrestleMania sign in my bedroom. I
The
don't.
one on your television screen, I pointed.
Well, whatever. I guess you're better.
He asked me to point.
You're a bigger
I
Cody
pointed.
fan than me, Pat.
No, I'm just follow directions well.
Okay. And that is when The Rock shocked everybody and came out. And what's funny is I didn't get it at first because I saw everyone freaking out and I was like, dude said he was going to be there. And then everyone was like, no, he didn't. He said he's going to be there next week. And I was like, oh, sorry. I got confused because like to me, it like wasn't exciting. Like I see everybody freaking out. And I'm like, he told us that he was going to be there. And then they were like, no, that's next week. I was like, oh, okay.
I love how you like we're so in it's next week, but you're like, yeah, he's gonna happen, and you're just like, oh, like why?
Yeah, I'm just okay.
That's
Like
tough.
I mean,
That's
I
so
understand
tough.
it's like, it's exciting to see him and I get it more why people reacted that way, but I just was confused cuz I was like cuz everyone was saying, "Oh, he showed up unannounced." And I was like, "No, he literally said he was going to be on Raw." And they were like, "Yeah, next week, not this week." And I'm like, "Okay. Okay, sorry.
It's so
Sorry I
funny.
can't meet your excitement." Okay.
You gotta
So,
raise it.
I would say that The Rock is growing on me a little bit, and I think it's just because
There you go. Welcome.
I don't know. I really like his entrance. I think
It's
the lightning,
incredible.
whoever thought of that, kudos to you. We know it
What's
wasn't
Black
Jeff
Adam?
Rebel. Whatever, I don't care.
Damn right. Whoa.
I'm just
Black
saying I
Adam.
love it.
Cool.
I think it's cool. And I liked the slow walk down. I don't usually like slow entrances, but it fit the vibes. And
It absolutely fit the vibes.
he then stands across from Cody Rhodes for about 46 minutes until he then decides to whisper a few sweet nothings in his ear and then exits. And what I was really interested in was, the reaction that he got when his music hit, which you expect, despite the fact that they want you to hate him. He is exciting to see, especially I guess when you don't know he's going to be there. Except I would have been just sitting there like, okay, like imagine me being there in person and we hear his music and everyone's like, oh my god, holy shit, and I'm sitting like, okay, because like I already thought he was going to be there anyway, and I was wrong.
You're just expecting him like, come on, Rock, come on, get down here. Come on.
Like, okay, guys,
Oh, that's
settle
so
down.
funny. No, it's so funny.
I don't remember what I was gonna say now. Gosh darn it. Oh, okay, now I remember.
There
So
it is.
they came out and they were all cheering for him, and then I loved that, like, even though nothing was happening, like they chanted Rocky sucks, like when he was going up, like they turned on him quick. And so I was like, finally, you guys, meet the energy. You're supposed to hate The Rock. Like,
yeah, it comes out, and then he gets the ring, like, oh yeah, boo.
Yeah, then he leaves because he doesn't say anything, and they're really mad because he just stood there.
You're missing one key. It was kind of hilarious that you got holy shit, this is awesome. All the standards, the die Rocky die. No, just Rocky sucks. We don't have that one's.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not him, please. But did you find it absolutely hilarious that we got a CM Punk chant? while The Rock and Cody Rhodes are in the ring,
I
and we're just
know.
getting a flat out CM Punk chant. I lost it. I
I
was
was
in tears.
I was
I was like,
like,
"We're in Chicago."
it's only, yeah, that's the only reason, because obviously Chicago is owned and operated by CM Punk. So, because I'm like,
That is
he
like
doesn't
his
fit in this at all. Like, he's not involved in
everything.
this at all. So why are you chanting his name? But um,
We're in Chicago. That's it.
yeah,
It's CM Punk.
that's literally it. So yeah, so that really did, as this banner says that I should have put up a minute ago, he set the tone, because that it's what happens and what is the storyline regarding the bloodline for the rest of the evening. And then we get into the first match of the night, which we see a moment in the back in the Judgment Day clubhouse between all of Judgment Day, as JD is getting ready to go take on Ricochet again. And they all want JD to take care of the guy who beat
Just
him and then
win.
beat Dom Dom. And
Just win.
Finn says that he is tired of him and Dom Dom being made to look like bums. And I was like, Finn, where have you been? Because you were enjoying seeing your boy not win and be trashed by the rest of Judgment Day. Now all of a sudden you care. I'm like, you were the only one who was supposed to be standing up for JD, but you enjoyed watching your Judgment Day brethren, slaughter him every single week. But
Yeah.
whatever. And we see Rhea say, "Just win, please." And I was like, if only
Just
it was
win,
that easy.
baby.
If only it was that easy. I don't know what to say. It was a banger the first time, it's a banger the second time, and I just wanna I feel like I want to see JD versus Ricochet every single week. Twice a week if we're lucky. Like
See, they're just both so good in the ring that they just know how to entertain the fans. It's so captivating to just watch them perform, like,
yeah.
the moves they do. I mean, the finish with Ricochet, or it was JD doing the arm drag, and Ricochet pulled up into a Canadian destroyer, and then he gets on the top rope, and you think that that's how it's gonna end, which in my opinion, that should have been the nail in the coffin.
Mhm.
But Dom Dom has to get in the middle of it. He gets canned, and then JD goes up for something, gets pushed down. What do you think of the standing, like JD standing into a shooting star for the pin? Like that felt more emphatic a little bit.
I liked it. I love it. I feel like I think that the part of the reason why these matches are so good, especially right now, and maybe just in general for Ricochet, because he's always fighting for a spot on TV, is because he always wants to prove to you why he should be on TV. So I feel like that's a motivating factor every time he has a match on television, because he's like, I should be on TV. Look at how good I am in the ring. Look at the reaction that I get from the things that I do. And
Mhm.
yet we'll still see him, he'll be on TV for a few weeks and then he's off for 6 months and then he's back. And I think that some people are, a lot of people are giving the rightful credit to Ricochet, obviously, but they're not giving enough credit to JD McDonough. And I'm not even saying that
No.
in a biased way, because I love me some Irishman and I love me some Judgment Day. But I always say this, it takes two to tango. You can't
Yeah.
expect one. It doesn't matter how good of a wrestler one person is in the ring. If it's a singles match, it doesn't matter that Ricochet is incredible, high flyer, this and that. If he does not have a good competitor in the ring with him, it's not going to be a good match. You can't overcome a bad wrestler or whatever. And so it's like people are overlooking how friggin' good JD is. And I get it. We're supposed to hate him, so you can't really give him credit. But I try to watch things, through just as unbiasedly as I can, even if I do have a bias, obviously. But
Obviously, the vice good.
I like to
Yeah.
give credit where I feel like credit is due. So, like, if someone put on a good wrestling match, but I don't particularly like them, I'm gonna still say, like, yeah, that was a good wrestling match. I hate
It
them, but
was banger.
you know. So shout out to JD and shout out to Ricochet, because that was a great match. And like I said, I would love to see it every single week, twice a week. I don't care. It's so good. And I
It,
would really like to see JD have more singles matches. There's a reason why he was like one of the top guys in NXT. So, as much
yeah.
as I love Judgment Day JD, I still want to see him get more of these opportunities. And it's kind of similar to what I'll say later about like Vinci. Like, come on, you
Oh,
know?
Vinci.
Yeah, don't even say anything.
I'm not. I'm not.
Um,
We haven't got to that segment yet. I'm not.
yeah, shut up. Anyway, do you want to
Not
get to
gonna,
some comments? before we move
Yeah,
on?
Richard just like loved this match.
It was incredible.
It was really good, and he's glad to see Ricochet flourishing when the matches. I don't know where the momentum will go. Maybe a match with Drew once he's champion. Because yeah, you got to really think of that next cream of the crop that's coming up. You know,
Hmm.
those guys that were fighting for the IC title, like they've kind of outgrew Gunther, but not only Gunther, the title itself. And
Hmm.
you need Drew, Cody too on the other side of the fence to have fresh talent to go up against that's not the same old people. So
Well,
you get these people. They may not win the match, but you gotta show that they can hang with a champion.
and I think that'll be interesting to see how Cody, we assume he's going to win at WrestleMania, and that means he's moving to SmackDown. Or I wonder if he gets moved, like through the draft, if they're trying to,
I've thought of this. Because it makes no sense to me
yeah,
how
for
you're
him to be
gonna
on
have
SmackDown. Yeah.
for Cody to be on SmackDown, then
Yeah.
Drew on SmackDown.
Well, Drew's, I don't know. And that's it. I don't know. That's the thing. It feels like
Yeah,
neither
like
of
you
them
don't
makes
know.
sense for SmackDown, but like, um, if Cody does stay on SmackDown, I think that they should bring some of the guys from Raw over to SmackDown so that they can get title shots. You know what I mean? Because it's like, um, it would make more sense for a lot of them to go against Cody. You know, because I could
Yeah,
also see if we assume Drew is going to win. We know that he's going to face CM Punk at some point. And although I don't want to see it and I don't feel like it's necessary, if Punk did win the title from Drew, I could see Punk, or I don't know if I could see it. I would like to see Punk be a champion that was similar to like John Cena's US title run, where it was like an open challenge every week. He just fought
yeah.
anybody. Like I feel like Punk is in a space where he could do that, or he should do that, given his
Hmm.
age and like injury history and stuff too. But that would be
Hmm.
a good way to like put over some younger guys too, you know, without it having to,
Anytime an open challenge.
it doesn't
Yeah.
have to directly correlate to, oh, I have a problem with Punk. It's like, okay, well, we could see a Punk versus Ricochet or something like that. Like that would be fine.
Could Punk hang with Ricochet?
Probably not, but I'm just saying, like,
I think he could, and like if he just went to his own limitations. Or
yeah, but that's the,
I
and
think he could.
Ricochet would
I
have
think
to
they can put him on
carry
the.
those parts of the match probably.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
was Phil ain't getting up on the top. Tell you that.
no, no, he'd blow out a
Well,
quad.
he'll do the. Well, he might do the Pepsi plunge. You never know.
I don't know.
You
Since we're
damn
talking,
right. Speaking about him,
speaking of CM Punk, CM Punk was back in Chicago, y'all, as if you didn't know. And they were promoting the crap out
oh,
of it because he is the governor, the mayor, the owner, the president, everything
he is
of
Chicago.
Chicago. Like, yeah. Chicago Bulls, who? I don't know. Michael Jordan? I don't know. I don't know him.
The Chicago
So
Phils.
yeah. He comes out and he announces that he is going to be at WrestleMania, which I am excited about, not because of CM Punk. I am excited about hearing In Living Color. That's all I care about. I want to hear I just want to be able to sing it at the top of my lungs the way I got on camera for once at a Raw, because someone texted me and they were like, I see you singing every word to CM Punk's theme, and I was like, gosh darn it, like I did not want to be on
God,
camera.
you were having your own little karaoke
I
session.
I did it with Cena's too, and I was going like this. I was like, in case you forgot, I fell off. I'm still hot. No, like I was doing
To get
this, and I was like, you
a
know,
little what's
Sarah,
up.
so
It's
cringe.
like, oh my
Um,
god.
so yeah, so Punk says that he's going to be at Mania, and he says that people have suggested many ways that he could be in WrestleMania. Obviously, it will not be as a wrestler. We saw his arm is still all messed up, so he says people have
That counting hand.
yeah, some people have
Fine.
suggested commentary. Which I wouldn't be mad about if he were on all night because he was good before. They said hosting WrestleMania, or what if he was a guest referee? And then he was saying,
Crowd
get to
chanted
that, but
referee.
he brings up Seth Rollins, and he says that he doesn't like that Seth has kind of been like joking and laughing about the fact that he hurt his arm, and he finds it ironic that a dude with two bad knees would even be saying anything. And I was like, you could even bring up his back, like, but
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting. He brings up The Rock, which I was like, I'm sorry, whatever.
that
But
was just an easy shot.
I
I think
know,
that was just to make a callback to that quote because once I rewatched it and I saw how close he got to the camera,
yeah,
it was like, okay, that's
I
you well done. Like
yeah,
that was a ballsy comment to say, but then come full circle and in the positions you're in, yes, like
yes,
hell of a
because he
moment.
says I have the direct quote. He says he brings up The
Oh,
Rock and how The Rock hasn't said anything. He said, that he would like to think that he didn't say anything to him or about him because 10 years ago, he remembers coming face to face with the Second City Saint and realizing his arms are just too short to box with God. And I was like, oh, okay, Punk. Okay, Phil. Okay, Philly. He then brings up Drew McIntyre, DM Hunk, and he calls him out. And of course, the music hits. And then he gets mad and tells him to shut up the music because it's stupid.
Shut off that stupid music.
And then
Incredible.
Punk tells him to get his bitch ass in the ring. And Drew reminds him about, you remember what happened last time that we were in the ring together? Because I did that. And I was like, that's right. DM Hunk. Forever. And so CM says like okay, well, if you're a Scot in a kilt, are you a Scot in a kilt or an internet troll with a skirt? And then Drew was on one. Okay, everybody in this segment was on one, but Drew was like next level in this. Like, this is the type of segment that that's like not really scripted and they're just all going off vibes, like
the report that was it was just a general
yeah,
like script. It was like, all right, you're gonna do this, that, and the other
yeah,
thing.
like you need to cover these things, but like whatever you say in between is whatever, and I'm like, those are the things that are so much fun to watch as a fan too, because sometimes there are moments where it feels so scripted. I mean, people have even said that about Punk since he returned to WWE, that they felt like he was too buttoned up. We didn't see enough of the real CM Punk. We were getting like corporate Punk or like a censored version, watered down version, you know what I mean? Like people felt like he wasn't the pipe bomb guy, and I felt like this kind of gave shades of that, even if it was like not going after the jugular of somebody. It was like, I don't know, I still thought it was good.
I
And I love it when he says like, be careful, you're gonna get canceled for saying things like that. Like, Drew, stop.
Oh, he's just stirring the pot. It was incredible.
And this was already after he trolled Punk earlier in the day when he went to that bakery and he was like talking about how he wanted to eat
Mindy's bakery, and he said, there was a quote. Where were you?
Go ahead.
Oh, the quote's from All Out, and he says, "Mindy's bakery, it's closed on Monday and Tuesdays."
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I didn't even want to eat it anyway. So then, they say a bunch of other stuff. I just wanted to pull some of the best quotes from it because, I mean, they're saying a lot, but it was just like jabs at each other, basically. So Drew brings attention to his new shirt, of course, which mentions that he took out CM Punk on the back and ruined his WrestleMania trip. And he said, CM Punk says, I ain't ever have to put another man's name on a shirt to sell it. And then Drew rips it and reveals his other shirt, and then he talks about how he struggled to get out of that shirt because of his biceps, and he's sure that's something that CM Punk has never had to deal with. And I was like, true. And then he goes on and talks about how he finds it a little bit ironic that CM Punk is straight edge and he doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs because he spends most of his time in rehab. And I was like, boom.
That was a good one. Even Punk said that was good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, because like he's not wrong. It's not the type of rehab he's talking about, but he's not wrong.
So he gets a square.
Yeah, and so Drew goes on to say that he actually doesn't hate Punk, despite the fact that he's, I mean, basically said that in not so many words. But he says, "You complete me." And I was like, is this a Notebook? I didn't realize.
I was like, wow, we're going there. Okay.
Is this where Punk starts making out with Drew, like on his Instagram? He was saying it was going to be him and Cody. Maybe it's him and Drew.
Nicky's OnlyFans.
It's theirs. I don't know. He says that he uses the thought basically of CM Punk as motivation to finish things. Like if he needs to finish a set when he's working out, he said that Punk is his muse. And then he also lets people know to not shoot up his skirt. Do not shoot up my skirt, you perv. And I was like, okay. He also talks about how he is the chosen one.
Yeah, who called him that, Sarah?
Punk. Come on. This was like this is a checkmate moment. He said, who chose you?
Who chose?
What was his name?
Who said it? Say his name.
You have the balls to say who made you the chosen one.
Say my name.
And I was just like, wow, Punk. Okay. So then
that say my name quote. I was dying at that. I couldn't believe he said that.
I know. I was like, I'm glad that he did it though, because it was like everyone's thinking it. You know what I mean? It's like if you've been around long enough, it's kind of like if Austin Theory was involved in something. It's like, who brought you here? That's when Seth Rollins comes out They go on and kind of are like, ah ha ha ha, CM Punk being a special guest referee, whatever. And that's when Punk says, I don't think I could be objectively fair with these two dipshits. And I was like, we going in.
PG, brother.
We going in. Seth also just, he says a bunch of whatever because obviously everyone is just loving the vision of Punk and Seth in the ring together, staring at each other. They don't like each other, and people are like, this is what we should have, this is what we deserved. This is what we deserve. But this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. I understand that everybody wants to see Seth versus Punk, and I'm not mad about it. I didn't want to see it just because I didn't want Punk to have to win the Rumble to get against Seth.
Yeah.
But so many things worked out in our favor this year, okay? Because if Punk never got injured, we never would have gotten this version of Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre is like one of the best things in WWE right now. So people like, it's the same thing. Like if we didn't revolt against The Rock wanting to take Cody's match away and face Roman at Mania, we wouldn't have this version of The Rock that some people are saying might be the best version of The Rock ever.
I think
so,
it's one of my favorites.
But that's what I mean. Like all these people who are still saying like Cody crybabies and blah blah blah. I'm like, every single week you're eating up everything that The Rock does. You're praising him, saying it's the best character work he's ever done, and yet you're still complaining that you're not getting Rock versus Roman. Like you do realize that if we had Rock versus Roman, none of this would be happening. The Rock wouldn't have been heel Rock. He would have been the overly like baby face and like wouldn't doing the same stuff.
How you doing tonight, fans?
Huh?
How you doing? No, I mean like how you doing tonight, fans?
Yeah, so that's
how
the
we
thing.
doing,
like,
and then playing his Rock, and he would have been just all chipper, and it's like,
yeah, and I'm like,
you don't want that.
That wouldn't be bad because people love The Rock. So it's like if I get to see him, then it's like I guess in a way you don't really care what version. You're just like, I'm just happy he's here. But like, just imagine how much more boring that buildup would have been. Like, I mean, it could have been good. We don't know, but I feel like compared to what we're getting right now, I don't think it would be anywhere near this good.
All.
No, not at all.
And you know who you really have to thank for all of this?
Me. Cody Rhodes.
No.
Jack
Perry.
Okay, anyway. So
okay.
Jungle Boy, why?
Because without Jack Perry getting in a fight and standing up for what's right with real glass, then we would not have CM Punk and this whole scenario right now. Just saying.
Oh.
The scapegoat. Okay. He's the scapegoat.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, after CM Punk and Seth talk for a little bit, whatever, Seth does let him know, like, I don't think about you. You haven't even crossed my mind since the last time we were in the ring together. You're a non-factor. Blah, 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 blah. And then Drew comes in and starts reciting Eminem's Stan.
That was the line of the night. The line of the night was him quoting Stan into a super kick. Just like that was exactly how that segment should have ended. First off, a Stan quote in 2024 by Drew McIntyre of all people, and then Seth being like, "Nah, f this kick." Come on, this is Mania season.
I know this was just like so good. It just everything, and it's like it always amazes me seeing things like this because when you can tell that, like we said, it's not overly scripted, and it's just like,
oh yeah,
it still is so good because everybody is like at their peak right now. Like Drew is doing his best work. Punk is just loving life because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm injured and I can't be here, but I'm in Chicago, whatever. Rollins is just happy to be there too because it's like, okay, well, I don't like either of these guys, blah blah blah. But it's like, wow, I don't know. It was just very good. And I'm like, how do you top that, guys? How do you try to top that next week? I don't know. But anyway, it was fantastic. And then we move on to, I just want to talk about this really quick because, okay, so we know that the Bray Wyatt documentary is coming out next week on Peacock, but we got another teaser trailer and I almost started crying. I'm not even joking. The fact that the whole thing at the beginning was like Bo Dallas. I think his real name's Taylor. Is it Taylor, right? I'm gonna say it's Taylor. Yeah. Now that we know that he's like officially a part of it, because I think we kind of saw like glimpses of him in the other trailers that we've seen, but I mean, he's literally talking and like going through and like they were showing flashbacks and some of Bray's costumes and masks and stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna make me sob. So, yeah, I think from what I've seen, like Big E already said that he's seen it in full and said it's incredible. It's really good. Um, and so I'm very excited about it, and I know that it's gonna make me cry because I
Well,
don't know. There's
100% know
just
it is.
something I think with Bray Wyatt. It's like there's something about Bray Wyatt that just like hits me emotionally, and it just makes me so sad that he's gone. And I feel like part of it might be because I've literally saw the start of his career in WWE, and I watched the entirety of his career, so it's like it's just insane to
Oh,
me
yeah.
that we have to talk about him in the past tense.
Yeah, it's to me, it's how he made you feel. He was one of
Mhm.
the first wrestlers, even when, like, the first wrestlers that struck a chord with me at, like, a good age, not just as a kid. Like, he introduced me to another side of wrestling where you could be this mysterious figure, and just because you were, out there and creepy and whatnot, like, you still could be captivating. And even the Fiend and the stuff he did with the horror and like that side, like there was so much untapped potential there, and not only as the wrestler but as the human too, just of what he made, the impact he made backstage with everyone. It
And
was, it's just sad. It's
imagine what
really
he could
sad.
have done like post in-ring career.
Oh,
You
I
know what I mean?
mean,
Like we're really gonna
yeah.
miss out on like all the contributions that he could have made as like a story writer or
Oh,
a
backstage,
producer
what
or
he could have
something.
been, yeah,
Yeah,
with the
like
face back there would have
yeah. And I
just
think
sad.
and he was great too because other than, doing things that were very out of the box, I think that the way that they tried to pigeonhole him when he first started, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
they gave him the name Husky Harris because he was a chubbier guy.
'cause he was
Like
husky.
yeah, and it's
That
like,
was literally it.
that's so lame. Like, they really were just trying to
Yeah,
make him out to because then his pro was Cody Rhodes, and it was when Cody Rhodes was dashing, so he was, like, disgusted with the fact that he got put with Husky Harris, because like, Husky was chunky,
that's
and he wore
wrestling.
trunks, and he had, like, greasy hair, and it was just like, "Ew," like, Um, and so to me, it's like he was able to prove that you don't have to look like dashing Cody Rhodes to be a star or to be like memorable or to have a really good career. Because that is something that Vince also wanted to convince you of, that you had to look a certain way to be a star. And it was like Bray continuously proved that that's not true at all. So, and he's going down as like a legend. I don't care. People were arguing in the comments on our video of saying that we think that he should be in the Hall of Fame this year. I had people being like, "You're only saying that because he died," and I'm like, I
Well,
I literally
this year,
well, and
yeah.
we say in that video though, it's not even just like what he did, like what his accomplishments say, like what it says on paper that he accomplished. Because if you just look at that, yeah, maybe sure you can say that that's not a Hall of Fame career, but it's everything that he contributed to the wrestling industry as a whole is what makes him like puts him over the top as a Hall of Famer. Like what he actually
Exactly.
accomplished by being champion and whatever.
Yes.
To me, it's like that's just like the cherry on top. Like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there are people who need to be
100%.
considered for the Hall of Fame, and no matter what you're in, like because of what they contributed to whatever business or sport that they're in, because that can sometimes be more valuable than, oh yeah, they were champion 4 times, they were this
No,
and this and that,
absolutely.
So
'Cause you're
um
continuing the game. You're
yeah,
continuing it.
it's not just because he died.
Yeah, it's a
Like
legacy of it. Yeah.
did you want to get to more comments before we move on?
We just have a ton of ones about, I mean, that segment, the triangle segment, the love triangle.
Oh,
Oh, what's good, old man Mob? How we doing?
what
Let's
up?
go. Good to see you. Yeah, this was one of my favorite. I mean, one of
Yep,
the best lines.
that was so
Uh, it was really that caught me off
good.
guard. Like, oh, he's kind of right though.
I also loved how he sat on the desk Indian style or cross-legged,
Oh
to
my
just
god,
like further it's like everything Drew is doing right now is
it's
so
my
good.
dude.
I
It's
don't
so good.
understand the people who say that he's boring. He's not
Well, those people are
boring.
boring. Those
'Cause
people are boring.
I think
I
a lot of
can't.
the time people feel like you have to do things that are super over the top to be entertaining or for them to feel like you're doing something big. Like for me, it's like I don't want to bring The Rock into it, but like I feel like what The Rock did, and we're gonna talk about that to Cody Rhodes to end Raw last night. Like that needed to be done for people like me because I think like as over the top and whatever it was, right? Like to me, everything that he had done until now, it was like, yeah, it was good, but it didn't really like evoke that much of a feeling of me from me
Yeah,
other than
last
me still
night.
being frustrated
Yeah.
about the origin of why The Rock is a heel. Like that
Mhm.
still pisses me off. But then like that was a moment where it did need to be over the top. We did need to see like a 10-minute segment of The Rock beating Cody up, making him bleed and like wiping the blood. Like that was so over the
Mhm.
top, but it was necessary. And I feel like in a moment where this was happening and it's like, no, this was perfect. Like you didn't need crazy spots or like 4 F bombs, just for that to be like a great segment. No, these guys
Mhm.
killed it. Like I don't know.
Um, where is I'm trying to get some more here. Um, oh, Old Man Mob agreeing with me with my Jack Perry because we all have to thank Jack Perry for the greatest domino effect in wrestling history.
Uh, I don't get what that means. If he's right, if the little kids didn't prove they can't be, are you talking about who
Like,
are you
girl,
talking?
like real glass. He's
Glass?
saying, yeah, it's talking about the Jack Perry when, like, they were kids. Like, Punk is calling that he's working with children in AEW.
Oh, so we're saying if he was never fired, or
Yeah,
like, oh,
basically
okay,
that is just like if he was never fired. That is
yeah,
what that comment means.
yeah. Okay, sorry, I wasn't following. I was like, some of it was going over my head. So
Uh, I thank Drew's prayers.
I
Don't we
know.
all, Mr. Anderson?
I told you I prayed for this. I'm like, same. I'm just kidding. I did not pray for that. Would never pray for someone to get injured, but I was praying that you
I
would
used
be
to pray for
removed
times like
from.
this.
Yeah, yeah. Drew is a king. I don't care.
Rhyme like this.
Um,
All right, what we got next?
yes. So let's see. Okay, so I just want to talk about some of these matches
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
we get told to talk about everything. The peeps want to
Yes.
hear us talk about everything, so let's talk about it.
So we got to see a quick little match between Candice LeRae and Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile obviously stepping in to protect her friend Maxine Dupree, who just had that like traumatizing moment with Candice last week. Was it last week or the week before?
2 weeks ago.
Um, so this match was fine. It served a purpose. Basically, Candice pretends that she's injured in the corner, essentially using it as a diversion. And then she is able to use the ropes to pin Ivy to steal a win and goes on to try and celebrate with her BFF Indy, who is just not interested. She doesn't like these manipulating tactics that her friend is using. She doesn't like
I
this
know.
attitude change, but I am for it. Honestly, I am interested to see where they go from here. Like, I don't have a lot of confidence that this is going to go well, but I'm here for the ride because I do think that we need some sort of spicing up the Raw women's division. So,
I just did it. I just thought of it. I just did it. Okay.
okay.
Um, first off, I love this Candice LeRae little heel turn we're getting because if you see the current climate of the women's division,
Mhm.
all the littler petite women's wrestlers
Mhm.
are baby faces and they're good girl like
Mhm.
you want to be cheered for. Candice LeRae just says F that, I want wins and I don't
Yeah.
care how I get them.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what we need in the women's division and why I just, threw up my ones
Yeah.
acknowledging me, not
Mhm.
him. We acknowledge the champ of the peeps because there's a little birdie, okay, who's been out of action and not because of an injury, actually due to pushing a child out of them. And they are back in the gym. They are, working out again. And before everyone jumps down my throat and is like, "Well, just because she's in the gym pits doesn't mean that." No, it's a step in the right direction. Okay. 3, 4 months, that's where I'm at.
Who are we talking about?
Alexa Bliss.
Oh,
You didn't
okay.
catch it? Okay.
Sorry.
Alexa Bliss is starting to work out again and, getting back into the swing of things there, and she has expressed that she wants to get back and, is ready,
Raw,
to get
please.
back. Exactly, and you
Yeah.
put her on Raw, and
Her
you
versus
sh
Candice.
you could do her versus Candice or her teaming with Candice, so they could be a
Yeah.
little heel faction.
But give her new music because holy moly,
Oh,
Alexa's
no,
music is
yes.
horrific.
Yes, to whatever agreement, yes, there it is. I
Um,
just it
yeah,
needs to happen. I think I could create better music in Audition, um, than whatever Def Rebel is putting out there because the Creed brothers, I'm still not over. It has been a week and I am still not over it.
I know. It was yeah. Then we also get New Day versus DX.
It was
Um,
DX. DX was there last night, Sarah.
I know, I
This
can't
is
believe
we
it.
got to see them live
Yeah.
with
So
awesome truth on commentary.
yeah, so they were on commentary and obviously being entertaining because hello, it's awesome truth. And it ends up in a no contest. The match is fine. The match is great as it I mean, it is what it is, but it ends in a no contest because Judgment Day they come out and they are just like, okay, no, we're
They
you guys
obliterated
you guys
everyone.
are coming after our championship, so we don't want you to finish this match. Sorry, not happening. So they all start
Fair.
brawling. They then step up to our truth, and our truth is like, no, I'm on commentary tonight. I'm not fighting tonight. Blah 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 blah. And they throw him in the ring anyway. He then goes after everybody and hits them all until Damian Priest is like, honey. And he comes in and hits him with the razor's edge. They hit him with a coup de grace, frog splash, everything. And they stand over him to celebrate at the end. And I'm like, I feel like this is just further proving that Awesome Truth is going to win the titles. And I'm not here for it.
Oh, I am.
I just feel this is the thing. Like, I mean, I don't think that it's gonna be boring because the Miz is entertaining. Our Truth is hilarious. Like I'm not saying that, but sometimes these situations feel uh like a heat of the moment decision where it's like, okay, everybody's thinking that this is really funny right now, so let's keep going with it, but it like kind of dies down, like people check out. So it's like, I don't know that this will be like hilarious if they win the tag titles, and then it's like, how long after that are people still going to be entertained? You know what I mean? Like
They could
we've seen this in the past where they like try to bank on things, and then it's like, okay, once they finally get it and the fans are like, okay, we got it, then they're like, all right, we're good, we don't really
oh,
care anymore.
look how long our truth has been over just by popping on our screen.
I know, but yeah.
If there's anyone to give a legit reason for wrestling legit, by the way, to either split the titles or find a solution for them, it's our
Mhm.
truth. Because whatever he says, people can be like, "Well, our truth said it," and it's like, "Huh, remember that segment where he did that?" And then like you just go with it at that
Yeah.
point. That's where my mind's at. Like they're gonna do something with him. He's gonna say something. We're just gonna take it as gospel.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, they need to do something, I guess, because they want to make it feel like there is some sort of animosity in this match for Judgment Day. But I feel like they don't really have to do that because it is a 6-pack challenge. Like you don't actually have to have beef with the 5 other teams, but
Yeah,
I guess that's an added layer. I mean, we already knew they were going to have beef with DIY because they had that mini feud. We
obviously.
knew they were going to have a beef with Awesome Truth, but like you don't need to have a beef with the New Day. You don't have to have a beef with the people on SmackDown too, you know.
Yeah,
It's going to be a good
they're
match
just evening
regardless.
the odds. They're just
Yeah.
evening the odds. That's all they're meant.
And then we get Andrade, who was supposed to take on Ivar, but Ivar was not medically cleared. So we got to be gifted Giovanni Vinci. And so I was happy about it because I was like, all right, well, Imperium's been off TV. This seems to potentially prove that Kaiser is injured. I'm not sure. Still haven't seen anything about that. I haven't seen anyone say that. But if he's not, it's just I need to believe that he is simply because it just will make me more mad if he's not, that they didn't put them in the 6-pack challenge for the tag titles at Mania, because that doesn't make any sense. They literally beat New Day and you are not putting them in, but they're healthy. That doesn't make any sense to me. Um So I was excited
Oh.
for this match because Andrade, incredible. Vinci, incredible. Match, incredible. It was great. It wasn't super long, but it was still a good match. I want to see more with Andrade. I'm obsessed with Andrade right now. Uh, It just is what it is. I know. It is what it is. Okay. I wasn't gonna address it. Okay. I wasn't gonna say
I
anything.
will. Sarah, I'll do it. I can address it.
We already know. We don't need to hear it. Thank you. So yeah.
Okay. You guys
We'll
can figure
see
it out.
where this goes. I feel like we just keep seeing Vinci just keeps proving why he deserves to have more matches, especially singles matches, but you also just need to let this man cook because he's good. Like,
Oh, yeah, in all seriousness, he's, like, very good in the ring, and he's
yes.
doing moves that you don't think a man of his size can do, from everything from the springboard moonsault, which unbelievable, but then 2, the dude's a speeding bullet off the ropes.
Oh my
Like,
god,
he's physical.
and he matched Andrade's chop at the beginning.
Oh,
Remember
the
how loud it
chop.
was?
Oh my god, like,
Vinci matched it in the
well,
match too.
that's what happens when you're Imperium.
I
You
know.
learn how to chop with the, ring
Oh my
general.
gosh. So I told my friend from work that like my back was hurting or whatever, and he was like, "You need a good chopping from Gunther." Like in my
He'd
back.
chop it back into place. He
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so shout out Vinci. Unfortunately, also guys, I'm probably not going to be able to meet Imperium. So
Oh, that is sad.
I
That
know
that is sad.
they're gonna be there on Sunday, and we didn't have any plans for Sunday. I kind of want to like sleep in on Sunday if we can because we're gonna have such a chaotic
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday that like
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
We can sleep.
Um, but yeah, I was kind of bummed about that. Pretty Deadly
But
haven't been
Sundays is
announced yet,
Slammies.
so
We gotta
yeah.
vote for the Slammies because
And
we gotta cover that too.
yeah, Source says
Soar!
Andrade
What's
does some Ricochet
poppin'?
stuff with a much bulkier frame. It's nuts to me. Yes, it's the luchador background. So that's why I'm
Dude,
saying like,
imagine would you do like sports science with like the science guy? I just thought about it.
okay, I'm like, what are you
Continue.
talking about?
No, I just had a
Um,
thought come in my head and I just like verbalized it.
it would just
That's
be,
it.
oh my gosh, yeah. So Andrade is just like he just fits the mold of the type of wrestler that I like. So that's why I like him. You know, he's also not like American. So like, you know, those are my
So
guys.
that's the standard for why you would like him.
Well, I
Not
know
American.
there are American wrestlers that I like. It's just, you
Brutal.
know, I tend to like the European or Mexican style of
That
wrestling.
style.
So yeah.
Lucha Libre.
Yeah,
Lucha Libre is
that's my
sick.
stuff.
Yeah.
So then we
This
move
was
on to oh, I was like somebody messaging me on Slack. It's not to me, it's to a group. Okay.
that's just hate them.
Oh, there's a
They're just the
potential
worst.
reunion of Ezekiel Elliott in
And the
Dallas.
Cowboys?
Yeah, they're also entertaining the idea of Dalvin Cook, which I was like, what did he do last year?
Ew. Dalvin Cook is ass.
Yeah, I know. But anyway,
I will
um
say that proudly.
so we get Rhea Ripley coming out to the ring with Dom Dom, of course, to talk some ish about my goat, Becky. She says that she feels like she is not getting enough of Becky's attention. And that is because Becky has decided to just keep fighting everybody leading up to WrestleMania, which, you know, she's been saying that she took issue with that. So she's getting a little impatient because she wants Becky's attention. Which then of course Becky comes out and before Dom can say anything, because Rhea wanted to give him his moment to like back her up with what she was saying,
That's so nice of her.
Becky mocks her for never wrestling on Raw anymore, which then Rhea comes back at her and I was like, Rhea, queen. Rhea's a queen. She says that she doesn't even have to wrestle on Raw for attention, you know, because all she needs to do is post a video or a photo, and these weird fans will eat it up.
They
And
will.
she's not
They
lying.
will.
She's not lying.
It's all over my Twitter feed.
Yeah,
You
and she
sick
just did
perverts
Impulsive.
retweeting it.
So
Yeah, I'm actually listening to that episode.
yeah.
I think
In the teaser clip, she talks about her nipple piercings.
Oh, it's nipple.
Yeah.
That was the okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
It was we're going with nipple.
Was she talking about her vagina? Is that what you're
I
saying?
think it
It's possible.
I mean, do that. I'm just saying people do it.
No, I know. I mean, I guess I didn't read her lips, so I would have to look to see like if
I
that's
was
what she
looking
said,
at the curse. I was looking at trying to think how many
Oh.
letters. My mind went. I was trying to see how many letters were in that.
Okay,
song.
whatever. But
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we'll watch that. But anyway, yeah, so she says that she doesn't have to do anything, and then Becky is like, okay, well, we definitely have different ideas of like what a champion is. You just decide that you want to post your ass on the internet, but I believe in like busting your butt in the ring every single night, and that is what a champion is. Rhea says that she reminds her of something, and that something is a cockroach. She says she's really hard to kill, but it's not impossible. And instead of doing that at WrestleMania, she will spare Becky because she wants to be able to see Becky sitting on her couch with her little daughter Rue and be able to witness Rue calling her mommy. And this is when Becky gets emotional, but goes off on Miss Rhea and says, do not ever mention my daughter ever again. Mentions how her dad never
That
got
was
to
bars.
see her be a mother or to meet her daughter. And she says, that might be a joke to you to like mention my daughter, but it's not a joke to me. She then points to the world title and says, that might be a joke to you, but it is not to me. They get into each other's faces. Dominic breaks it up, which then results in him getting knocked in the chin, brother.
He got knocked the fuck out.
And they
Jesus
then
Christ.
brawl a bit and they get broken up by referees. And I was like,
Now here
okay,
we go. Now here we go.
this might be reminiscent of what we saw um from Rhea and Charlotte last year, but this is so much deeper. I feel like we needed to have this segment between them because we've gotten so many people questioning in, the comments while we're live or even just YouTube comments when I post the clips, asking what the purpose of Rhea and Becky is. Like, this just feels like they're feeding Becky to Rhea. Like, oh, of course Becky had to win the Rumble or not. No, she didn't win the Rumble. Or,
Chamber.
yeah, Chamber. So it's like, people are like, this is just a way to get Becky on the card. And of course, she's in the title picture, blah, 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 blah. And we've said it was more about being who's the best, like who's the dominant woman on Raw.
It is.
And that's true, but I feel like this added more depth to it because it got more personal. And that is easier for people to invest in. But I still think that um as good as this segment was, and I again, this was just full of greatness on this episode of Raw. I'm interested to see how the Mania audience responds in this match because people love Rhea, but they love them some Becky Lynch. So it's kind of like,
Oh, they love it.
it's not going to be the same as what we saw with Rhea and Charlotte because even though people like them both, people do not hesitate to boo Charlotte. So like
No, they don't.
it's not
They
the
do
same.
not.
Becky doesn't get that reaction. Rhea doesn't get that reaction. So I'm really interested to see what that dynamic is going to be.
I really feel like we're going to have and when I say this, I mean for the sheer crowd factor, like a Hogan Rock at Mania where you're just gonna cheer. Like
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens, you're just gonna cheer. All right.
Yeah.
There's no boos. Like you just can't choose a side because at the end of the day, you don't care. You just know it's gonna be an absolute classic.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I mean, Rhea has put on incredible matches, and I feel like a lot of that goes under the radar a bit because people aren't exactly happy that she's not wrestling all the time or she's not on every pay-per-view and defending the title. And I can agree to that to a degree because like, yeah, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't say that because I say it about Roman Reigns. But Becky puts on great matches too. So imagine them doing it together like that. I'm excited. Like that could be a legendary match, which we are going to see. So I'm very excited. All right. Then we see Chad Gable. He's getting more involved with Sami Zayn's matchup with Gunther. So Sami is getting ready and walking to the ring to face off with Bronson Reed, and he is met by Chad Gable backstage, and it feels like they're just setting up more of Sami's story. So when Sami's talking to him, he's just like talking about Gunther, and the Gable is like Gable is like you can't, like, this isn't about Gunther, like stop talking about him, stop focusing on him. That's exactly what he wants from you. He wants to distract you. Focus on the task at hand, get your head out of your ass is what he said. And Sami was like not into it at first, but then he's like, yeah, no, okay, I agree with you, like you're right. But that doesn't last very long because then when he does go out there to face a big Bronson Reed,
Who
it was a good
popped
match.
up?
Yep, he got
Who
wrapped up.
came out?
Gunther comes out. Sammy takes too much time to focuses on Gunther's appearance way too much, which is able to set Bronson up for the win. And people are pissed. People are so mad that Sammy lost, and they feel like it's not doing anything for the story. But then we see,
They're not thinking.
yeah, so we
They're not
see
thinking.
Sammy and Gable meet up again after the match, and this is the emotional part of this, right? Because like you feel for Sammy being so disappointed and so mad at himself for losing this match and allowing Gunther to like get inside his head and to distract him, and he's mad at himself for doing it. So Gable says this is exactly what Gunther does, like this is what I told you. You shouldn't be doubting yourself. Basically, he's like, I was in the ring with you. You're one of the most athletic people. Like you had to have been one of the best matches that I've ever had. And you can't let Gunther get to you. And essentially he's like, I will help you. And so people were kind of comparing it to like him being Sammy, being the Apollo to Sammy's Rocky. And we were kind of talking about how that might be the case in this situation. And I'm okay with that. But
He's being his Mickey. Yeah.
I do wonder if that means that Gable is going to try to make sure that Sammy doesn't win at Mania.
I think I don't see. Yeah, I see in the more of the path of Gable, kind of little being a bad guy
I
and
want
squirming
that.
in there and trying to weasel Sammy out of the title because he truly believes that the only person that should be Intercontinental Champion after Gunther is Chad Gable, and if
Yeah.
he has to do whatever it takes to kick a man who's also on the same side of niceness than him, then so be it. You made my daughter cry.
Yeah.
That's it.
It feels kind of similar to like what ended up happening between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. You know,
Oh
like
yeah.
Santos had to pretend to be happy that Rey was able to win the US title in place of him. I just don't really see Gable reacting that way because there's so much more history here between Gable and
Way
Gunther. Like I
more.
can't imagine he would ever be happy that Sammy beat him. And I feel like that would be a really cool twist for Gable to be a
It would
heel.
be. That would be a very interesting twist. I don't know how
Because
that would.
some people were saying that this kind of felt like, okay, Sammy's obviously winning at Mania. I feel like, okay, I get what you're saying, but I
No,
also feel
I
like
don't
that
see that.
it doesn't benefit Sammy to win. I feel like yeah, it would be good because the story is like, oh, he was having a hard time finding a path to Mania, then he finally does it, and then people weren't really happy about it at first. But I feel like the bigger story would be kind of, yeah, Gable pretending like he's gonna coach him and be in his corner, and then he's the reason why he loses. Like that's more interesting to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Um, I want to see what the comments are saying because I see people
That's what I'm
responding.
getting. That's what I'm getting to. So do you feel that they waited too long to develop Sammy's solo persona for this cycle compared to Gunther? The onion hasn't been peeled enough.
I don't think so because I feel like people know who Sammy is. You know, like Sammy's been around for so long,
Yeah.
like you know who he is. I don't know that because the thing with the story between him and Gunther isn't meant to be that deep because like Sammy was just thrown into that gauntlet match because it was like, okay, well, he needs a Mania match and like
Mhm.
he's good enough to obviously be in the Intercontinental title picture. So like, yeah, put him in there. But I don't think that his storyline with Gunther was ever really meant to be deep because like he won a gauntlet. It's just like if like if Bronson Reed won it or like something, it
Yeah,
just is like
like
it's just like, yeah, you won a competition and then you get a title match. But
yeah.
it
If
seems
you
like
have them, oh
more
yeah.
of the story is going to be, I think, between him and Gable. I'm sorry,
Oh yeah. No, this
Sammy and
is
Gable.
no, yeah. This is to me. I'd rather Sammy win the battle royal and now facing him because you don't want Gunther's reign to end. It doesn't make sense for it to end right now. And if he beats Gable for a third time or this final time, whenever he next faces him, then like Gable you just don't care about, and it actually does less for Gable. You want Gable to have to go this route to try to get the championship because you have to do, you have to kind of stab some backs, cut some ties to get
Yeah.
what you want. And to me, that is seeing, Gable kind of go this way and being the preppy, perky, I want to help you out guy, but with a, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Knife behind his back type of thing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
for that too, because we haven't seen that from Gable.
Well, because it could end up being like, this is something that they've done in
Heel
WWE
Gable.
before, where he doesn't even have to go full blown heel, because obviously putting a heel Gable against a heel,
Yeah.
um, uh,
Gunther.
Gunther is, I mean, unless you're trying to make him a babyface when they're in Germany or whatever, like, I guess, but I
Mm-hmm.
still would hate to see Gunther lose at Bash in Berlin. I think that would be dumb. But it could be one of those situations where they've done it in the past of a person just like getting caught up in the moment, and so like Gable ruins the match to make sure that Sammy loses, but then he's like, "Oh my god, what did I just do? Like, I can't
Yeah,
believe I just did
exactly.
that." And so it's like you hate him in the moment because people were like, "Oh my god, Gunther's about to lose." But then it's like him and Sammy aren't hating each other, and then maybe they could get into like whoever they get into another match, and it's like, okay, whoever wins
Mm-hmm.
this match is the number one contender for the IC title. Maybe that's when Gable
Mm-hmm.
wins, and then people are like supporting of him again or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah,
It's not his first Mania,
it's not
by
his
the
first
way.
Mania. It's his second Mania.
But
But
sentence still
yeah, yeah,
stands.
and
Like,
he
he's
had
not
one of the
losing.
best matches of last year, except for
Well, go look it up.
people don't want to
Go look
credit
up
him
it.
for that. It wasn't even considered one of the best.
People don't like the critically thinking and being amused with something that is so simple and pure, like the art of wrestling. I'm sorry. It's simple.
Um,
This, Sarah, I gotta say, I totally forgot this is the kickstart to the whole Cody. Like when I went to like fell asleep, whatnot, and then waking up and it's like The Rock just kicked Cody's ass. I'm like, wait,
I
what the
know.
fuck did I just
So
miss?
yeah,
And
because
going home to see that, and like, I'm like, why is Nakamura? Which, by the way, Cody's finishing his story. Drew's finishing his story. Why isn't my boy Nakamura finishing his story? All right, just because he's got a little bit of a darker one doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be ended or
yeah,
finished. What? Like,
I
it's so sad, my guy.
um. So yeah, we're not really gonna even really discuss the Jey Uso versus Nakamura match
No,
because it
no,
was
but it
just kind of,
happened.
it's like whatever. Okay, cool. Jay wins.
Yeah, or the spear, like, it was so underwhelming, and then I'm
Yeah.
like I was like, "Oh, thank God they had this, because now it makes sense why it was such an underwhelming finish."
Yeah. So during the match, the bloodline comes out, Jimmy and Solo, and that is when the cavalry come out. So Cody and Seth come out to make sure that they don't go after Jay. Drew then comes out and goes after Seth, of course, looking bomb in his shirtless outfit with jeans. Because um and
Yeah?
then yeah, that's one of my things. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, not just this, like, that's like
No,
a Sarah
jacked
thing.
man, shirtless in a pair of jeans. Yeah, that's why. Oh my god, Elias. When Elias was
Oh, alright, puzzle pieces starting to connect, alright.
yeah. So Cody and Jimmy are still fighting backstage, and then we finally see that Solo comes out of nowhere. Just starts coming in, wants to beat him up, and then Cody's like, and that's when The Rock just shows up out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, talking, nonstop talking, just to let you guys know that he still can talk because you were so mad that he left
Look at this! Look
left the
at this!
arena earlier. And
Look at this!
I so when we were before, I don't even know. I feel like everything
I think
about
this will
this
help you. I think this will help you.
in a second. So
Yeah, okay.
um I feel like everything was working in their favor for this. The fact that they had that opening segment where the Rocks, whispered, which we now know, like, I'll make you bleed tonight. Cody then later on saying he made a promise he can't keep. Um, and then Cody, like, literally saying nothing throughout this entire thing. The fact that they went outside, it was in front of Cody's bus, it was raining. It was just like
So
everything was so
cinematic.
good about this segment. And The Rock just, he had the weight belt that said Mama Rhodes. He literally
That
wiped the
was
blood and put it on the belt. Like everything just worked so well. It really was cinema. Like I know that people throw that around and it's like, oh, it's a joke. You just use it as like a trendy term. Like, no, this was like a movie. And before we went live, I was saying that I think it was. I was like, oh yes, fireworks. Okay.
Oh.
I don't know where that came from, but I felt like we'll talk about that comment, by the way, about Roman in a second. I want to hear your stuff
Mhm.
first. But I felt like this was needed. This needed to happen because we need to have more reason to hate Rock. People aren't going to just hate The Rock. It's not going to happen. You heard the loud ovation that he got when he showed up. Granted, he wasn't expected to be on Raw, so I get it. But like, even when you know that he's going to be on SmackDown, he still gets like the loudest pop of the night. And it's because it's The Rock. People are going to cheer for him regardless.
It's
But in this instance, no, you can't be cheering for him when he's going up against your boy Cody Rhodes. And I felt like this was a reason to hate him. He dropped 4 F-bombs. Like, it was insane. He's bringing up Cody's mom. He brought up Dusty. Like, he was doing everything that you possibly could to get hated by people. And I felt like this was, I don't really know how to describe it other than like A+. It was
it was
so good.
absolutely incredible. Like from him just coming from behind as he's fighting with Solo into the just dragging him around the arena and just going, look at this boy, like just like all that, like just talking
Yeah,
while he's
look at
whipping his
you.
ass.
Like, look at
Look at
you.
you,
Yeah.
look at you. And yes,
And blaming
and
him like it's your fault that this is
it's
happening.
your fault this is happening, and he's throwing him or throwing a trash barrel just at him and
Mhm.
like just absolutely spank him around. And then to go outside, the rain was definitely just an added help. That was incredible. It was
Mhm.
just definitely an added help. And I want your thoughts though on the placement of certain trailers
I know.
during this.
I'm not
Um,
I'm not in a position where I feel like that's what's going to happen. Like, I get that people are like, okay, it's going to be like Captain America versus the Bloodline, but there's really
yes,
there's no connection between Stone Cold and the Bloodline and Cena
neither
and the
do I.
Bloodline really. Cena, sure, but like I don't see my thought process is would it be phenomenal for them to come in and like be on Cody's side? Sure. But are they going to steal his thunder? Are they going to steal his spotlight because people are going to be like, holy crap, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's John Cena? Like, I just don't know that it's necessary, like, and it also, you have to consider, like, I know people were thinking that this might mean that The Rock and Cody are not in cahoots, which
Oh, that's. I think this. Yeah, I
I
think he's in business for himself.
yeah, but this is the thing, right? So our theory for a long time from when this started, it was like, okay, The Rock and Cody are going to be working together and it's their way of taking down Roman Reigns. I don't know if that's the case anymore, just given the brutality of of this beatdown. Like, it's hard for me to believe that Cody would be like, yeah, rough me up. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't
Mhm.
know. But I really would not be surprised if, like, I still think that Roman will turn on Roman. Rock will turn on Roman because people are saying, yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. There's no reason for The Rock not to turn on Roman Reigns after assuming that he loses the title. There's a reason why we have the final boss and the tribal chief. Like, this was all laying the groundwork, and it all plays into, like, the comment that you put up. Roman is a not even a secondary character in his own match. And I think part of it, of course, is going to be because of the pivot. Um, and so yeah, you have to involve The Rock in some way. But I also think part of it is I don't have really any sympathy for Roman. Roman kind of put himself in this position. You didn't want to show up. You don't want to show up. You don't want to like bulk up your feuds. You don't want to do anything. You want to be able to show up once a month and you think that's going to suffice. He's shown up more this year than last year, but he's not doing anything. Like he's not doing anything to get you excited about his title match with Cody Rhodes. You're more excited about the tag match than you are about Roman versus Cody. And if you're excited about Roman versus Cody at all, you're excited because you know that Cody's probably going to win. That's it. Or you're excited because you think Rock is going to turn on Roman. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't really feel bad for Roman in this situation. He got himself into this. So
Yeah, he did. He got himself into this, and it's by not showing up and having The Rock overpower you in this. The big telltale sign to me is that of why Cody's gonna win. Is because it's Rock Cody. That's who the match is. It's not Roman Cody. It's Rock Cody, and Cody has to overcome The Rock, which in essence, that's overcoming the bloodline. So to me, that's like the whole thing, and that's why I want all of it because I love how we're just making him going to be the absolute hero shining from this.
well, and I think that people are kind of overlooking how much of this is laying the groundwork for Roman versus Rock.
Yeah,
You're not listening to me.
I am listening.
You can't text and listen at the same time.
I got it. I got a work text.
What
And
I said, I think people are overlooking the fact that all of this is just laying the groundwork for Rock versus Roman. Do you think Roman was sitting at home thinking what Rock was doing to Cody Rhodes on Raw was a good idea? He probably loved the fact that he beat Cody down, but why would he be happy that The Rock did it? It's like taking the spotlight off of him. It's becoming more about Cody
another
and
layer.
Rock.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm
and that's
saying.
the layer.
Yeah, because why does Rock care what Cody's doing? He's not going after The Rock's title. He's going after Roman's title. Like, why?
Exactly.
So, like, why is he taking it so personally? It's like, you get it. Okay, you're family. But, like, you're really going to do that because you're like, I love you, Roman. Let me go beat up your opponent. Like, that's just,
no. You're doing it for your own,
yeah.
Your own selfish gains.
Hence the final boss. Hence the change in your
entrance. It's all,
yeah. So that's the thing is like, I get it's not exciting, I guess. I still think Roman Cody is going to be exciting. I'm still excited about it. And there's still 2 SmackDowns and another episode of Raw for people to get excited about it as long as Roman decides to show up. I mean, this is it's his decision. And that's why it's like, it feels even more that he's going to lose the title because no one cares about him being champion right now. And everything feels like they're preparing for Cody to be the face of the company more than he is right now. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just a crazy turn of events, I feel like, honestly.
Rock is giving the orders. Roman doesn't like that because he's the tribal chief. He's the one that gives orders.
Well, because then we have to think about the original reason why they were going to have Rock versus Roman. The original reason was because it was like, who is the real tribal chief? That's what would have been the basis of their feud had we not responded and revolted to the idea of that match instead of it being Roman Cody. It was going to be, who's the real tribal chief, Rock or Roman? So like that's still going to be, I feel like that should still be in the back of their mind. Like that is still a story within this story, like I guess subconsciously. And like that's why I feel like The Rock is going to turn on Roman, because then it's going to be like, okay, we said that you were the tribal chief, then you lose the match, you embarrassed us, you make me look like an idiot for buying into you being the tribal chief, you just proved me wrong. I wouldn't have lost, because that's the thing. I do think that Cody and Seth will lose on night 1 to make it as difficult as possible for Cody night 2, and maybe even Rock wins the match on night 1 to add even more tension between him and Roman.
To win at night 1 though.
Who?
The Bloodline.
That's what I just said. This is why I said
I know, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, I said The Rock needs to win the match.
Oh, you're saying Rock needs to get the pin?
Yes, Rock needs to get the pin because that's going to piss off Roman even more. And then that way that Rock can say the next night when Roman, we assume, loses, Rock would say, I handled business last night. I got us the win. I got you the stipulation you wanted. I wouldn't have lost if that were me. If I were the tribal chief and I were champion, I wouldn't have lost. You embarrassed me. You embarrassed our family. Blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. Like, that's my assumption. And I feel like it's a good direction to go because it makes sense.
It
As we
is.
said, if it had been Rock Roman, that would have been literally their feud. Who is the real tribal chief? So
I kind of want to go with the Roma gets the pin, but the Rock is the reason he gets the pin. Like, like add a little bit more fuel to that fire. Like the
it's
Rock is the reason that he's laid out or something, and then Roman goes for the double pin, but it's, or like if you want to go over, exaggerate that much, yeah, he'll go for the double pin, but it's because the Rock like laid out a people's elbow or a rock bottom or blah blah blah, just like he did, whatever he did led to that, which that would also piss off the Rock too when Roman eventually doesn't win. I could see that too.
I like my idea.
Well, you know what, at the end of the day it just means that Cody's still going to win the title, and
Yeah.
that's literally all that matters
He could
at the
even
end of the day.
be Rock pins Cody.
Yeah, I don't care who, I literally
But
don't.
no, but what I'm
I
saying is if Rock
Yeah.
pins Cody, Rock versus Roman tension is deepened because like the maybe even the Rock like pushes Roman away so that Roman can't get the pin, but it's Rock, right? Like maybe Rock tags himself in, right? So
Mhm.
that there's that, and then of course if Roman loses, Rock is like, you embarrassed us, blah blah blah. Cody loses also adds some problematic feelings because it's like, oh my god, one, Cody now has to go through the bloodline stipulation on night 2. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
he's the one who got pinned. Oh my gosh, Roman's going to beat him tomorrow. Like he just got pinned. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that adds more to it than if it was like Roman pinned Seth. Like no one really cares about Seth and Cody beefing. Like that's like such a secondary story that like I don't really, and
Yeah,
I don't,
no one care. I have like I don't care about that. We already saw it.
and we
Like,
know that you can't have like Seth turning on Cody or something like that. You can't have heel Seth versus heel Drew McIntyre on night 2. Like it's just not going to happen. So it's like, and Cody isn't going to get pissed off at Seth. That's not going to happen either. So
yeah,
it doesn't make any
eh,
sense to me.
no, it'd be better. What I think that this is the time to have Roman pin Seth.
No, absolutely not. How dare you? How dare you? No, I do not agree. I do not co-sign that at
You
all.
don't.
No.
Why not?
I would like Seth to still have his undefeated record against Roman.
I know, but I really want to see Seth. Like, I think if you have Seth lose this match and lose the title, like I just think it keeps Cody here heading in, and he's pissed, and it keeps Cody like nothing is going right for me,
But
and then boom.
imagine Cody's like worst fear happens again. He loses to the bloodline at WrestleMania. And everything that made him lose the match last year is now allowed on night 2. He has to overcome the odds. Like at least in that way, he can't blame anyone but himself. He got pinned. It's like it's, I don't know. To me, making his path more difficult is going to make him a bigger hero for winning.
Okay,
And you don't need to have beef with Seth when they're not gonna. If Cody wins, Cody's going to SmackDown. Seth staying on Raw. There's no point in them beefing.
true.
So anyway, that was Raw.
That was
um,
Raw.
I'm sure we have some more comments. Wait. Oh, I thought it was like
What
2K. I thought he was saying that we had like 2,000 subscribers. I was like, what? We're not there yet.
did we actually? That'd be
No, we're
cool.
not there yet.
Wrong person. If they win, they will not. They're not touching Cody. Okay, you can't. No.
No, no,
All
no, no,
right.
no.
No.
If Damien cashes in, he's cashing in on Drew or Seth.
And
So
I will lose it.
I will
I
be so
will.
upset. To me,
No, I would be. I'd be. Oh, I would be slurping on my slushy.
I don't want him
Just
to.
eating
If he
my
cashes
crab
in, I want him
fries.
to fail. If it's Drew.
No one likes someone who roots for failure.
I don't want Drew to win the title for 2 minutes.
I do.
That to me, I'm like, does that mean he's leaving the company?
No, that means he's feuding with Damien, and then he's gonna win it again in like
Yeah,
2
but he
months.
doesn't even. I don't know.
Have Academy. Let me get some more. What's your question, Marcus? Is it this one? Roman at a point where he doesn't even need a title anymore, like his problem with Jay before SummerSlam. Like it's not about the title.
That's
It's
the
about
thing. To me, people need to
whatever.
remember that people outgrow titles. You know, like when the title starts to become a prop in your stories and your matches, that means it's time to move on. I feel like with Roman, it served its purpose. I don't agree, but it's made him a legend, you know? And
Mhm.
so now it's just becoming like the thing on his shoulder. Like you forget he's champion because other than the fact that he's not even like
This
the
doesn't mean
main
anything.
piece in his story, he doesn't show up and then it's like the only like the title means something in his match against Cody, but like if Cody doesn't win, who beats Roman, right? Like who beats him for the championship because it's not going to be The Rock. And it's just not interesting anymore. His feuds aren't deep. Like outside of Cody, he doesn't have like real beef with anybody that is like, yeah, okay, let's do this storyline again. You know, like otherwise it's just random people being fed to him because like when LA Knight got it was like okay they tried to build it up afterwards. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's time to just move on from, and it's not going to take anything necessarily away from Roman's title reign, but it's like
No, it's
it's not
not.
doing anything for him or the bloodline anymore. So
The title needs to be off him. That's it. Just needs to be off him.
mhm.
Because we need another day. By I don't know what he's saying about 2K. Why is Natalia here?
Oh yeah,
Natalia's on my screen.
I know she's answering the open challenge or whatever.
Lola Vice had an open challenge. That's what that was about. I
I
just saw
think
Lola Vice on my screen. She was doing the whole like
oh
this thing, and I'm
I
like, okay, I have a show going on, Lola. Stop
I think that I don't know.
captivating me with your hips,
I just saw a spoiler that
temptress.
Natalia was going to be there, so
She is there. I want to see Natalia in like these type of like this is Natalia's role. Is just to be this veteran who puts over young talent and has good feuds with them. Maybe a title run here or there to get the next generation a title. I mean, but like this is where Natalia's role is to thrive. I want to see Sword's last comment here. Last year, the Raw after Mania started with Cody versus Brock feud. What crazy development is going to happen after this year's post Raw Mania? Ooh,
I honestly don't
ooh.
know
We
because we
want to do a Raw.
assume that Cody is going to win. So like something crazy like that isn't going to happen this year if he does.
You
Um
don't know that.
well, I
What
just
if
mean they're Brock Lesnar is not going to show up and then turn on Cody. I don't see anybody
Oh no no
doing
no!
that.
Like, what would be a crazy feud? Like, we never thought we'd ever see Brock Cody before.
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I
Oh,
don't
you can't
know. I
think,
think
just go
well, I
crazy.
don't think that's what's going to happen because I think Raw is if Cody wins, it's going to be like a celebration of Cody becoming the champion. Like that's what it's going to be. Like can't predict like maybe something with Drew. Like I don't know. Like I don't know.
Okay,
Well, I can't give you an answer if I don't have one. So like
I'm trying to think of one.
um
I'm trying to think of one to
I
give him
don't
this last
know.
guy. I could see like so you know what? I got one. I saw this online and it just makes the most sense for where the direction they're going. I want to see Ilya Dragunov
Mm.
Monday night. Gunther comes in and he says, "I defeat everyone. I
Yeah,
do
no
it
one can
all.
beat me. Oh my god.
Who else is left?" And you just hear Dragunov's music hit. I
No.
would go ballistic. Bum, 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 ba-da-na-na-na. Dun, 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 and he's got the this and he's
Oh my
doing a
god.
lot of this and oh it's incredible. I can't wait. I physically can't wait. And that's gonna be
But see,
our
I don't think
finale.
that's not equivalent to Brock and Cody, but I see what you're
I
saying.
Yeah, I think a crazy feud that could come up. That's like the closest thing I can get. Because as you said, like it's this year, it's kind of more structured and like
It
who would come up. It's not as like random in the sense where someone could just like pop up and then like 3 weeks later they're not being used. Like everyone who's going to be called up after Mania on Raw or SmackDown, it's going to be very strategic. It's going to be
Yeah, I mean,
strategically done.
I think things are gonna go differently this year. Like the whole point of Cody Brock was because of the outrage of Cody losing. So it's like,
Yes.
okay, but if Cody wins, there doesn't really need to be anything. Or if Drew wins, like there doesn't need to be outrage because Drew won over Seth. You know, like it's not gonna evoke the same feeling. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know that there's really anything that would need to have a crazy moment like that. But it's also hard because we don't know how the show's going to go. So,
I
and
don't
if anything with like the bloodline probably won't happen on the Raw after Mania. So it's like, I don't know.
know. We'll have to see what happens. I can't
Yep.
wait. I can't wait for it. And we're only, well, now less than a week away from being there. Sarah, a week away from being there. And
Well,
hopefully
on
we see
18th.
all of you guys. No, tomorrow, because like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
today's over.
Yeah.
Well, for you, it's not because you're West Coast. You still got that light, but it's dark here. So, Kingdom of Razor. If I had a book, Rusev or Gunther for the IC title, it is Gunther hands down. I don't care if it's Rusev, Miro. I'll make that one quick because Gunther will remain on top. And for more questions like that from the Kingdom of Razor and answers like that for myself, hit that subscribe button. Okay, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live and post. And then make sure you hit that, go down below here. Links in the description for all the social media sites that you can find us posting at, because we're going to be at Mania. We're going to be posting. All right. I'm going to go crazy. I don't post my daily life here in Boston because, like, my Boston peeps know what's up. All right. But Philly, this is a time to post and share everything. So I'll be sharing all the good content. So you got to go see it by subscribing. And not only I'll be doing it, Sarah's going to be doing it. All right. We got WWE World. We got so much that we have to inform you about. And the only way to see it is by following us on all the social media platforms down below. We'll be back on Thursday for, I think, a WrestleMania episode. I think we're not going to do predictions because we'll save that for, I think, the Thursday we're down there. Maybe do like an in-person, whatever. We'll just get hype with WrestleMania. We're going to do the news like we usually do, but I think we might have a WrestleMania theme for this week's episode. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, by the way, before we wrap up here, does anyone know the takeover that was before WrestleMania 35 when Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte main evented? Kingdom of Razor, she's gonna say Gunther over Miro, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Gunther over Rusev. Yeah, I don't need to like. Sarah's gonna say Gunther over a lot of people. But I need to know what that takeover is before WrestleMania 35, I think it is, or
Just
34.
you should Google it. Like look up
I
takeover
tried and I
20
can't I
whatever.
can't figure it out. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
figure it out. I've tried to look up takeovers. I scroll through Peacock and like hit different like takeovers and it's just not the right one. So
Hmm.
I might just have to go and try to Google it myself for the umpteenth time and get lost. Because I'm an old man sometimes when it comes to that. So Takeover Brooklyn. I'm jealous, David. That's gonna be fun because I want to watch that before Thursday's show, and Sarah's gonna watch her WrestleMania. So we gotta do that. Takeover New York 2019. Thank you,
I was
Kervin.
I just found it.
Thank you, Sarah, for looking it up for me and was about to tell me the right answer. I'll give
Yeah, I
you
was just
credit.
gonna tell you.
I'll give you credit. I'll give credit to everyone who just told me. Thank you. I need to know. More people telling me, the merrier. Because I want to watch that. Because oh my god, that ladder match, electric.
Is that the one with
So
EC3 and like
I'm like
Velveteen
90%
and
sure.
Ricochet?
Yeah, like it's a wild ladder match, and I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure we had like Adam Cole and someone else too. So I want to go watch that. Not tonight because NXT's on, and not tomorrow because we never know. We'll figure it out. But thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you gotta do is try. We will see you on Thursday.